Oh, Mr. McRae is on a mission today. He swears that this baby is his and that Ms. Moore suddenly switched up, acting brand new and denying him his child. But Ms. Moore, she's not having any of it. She's standing her ground, insisting that the baby belongs to her husband. The drama, the mess, somebody get the popcorn.
Mr. McRae, until she was 10 months old, you were her
Father.
father.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about that.
I changed her, I played with her, I fed her, and I just missed that. I want something that's my own, and she knew that.
He did not change her.
Wow, just wow. So either Mr. McRae is the world's best storyteller, or these two are just allergic to agreeing on anything. This whole situation is a disaster. Their relationship crashed and burned, and now they're dragging their wreckage into paternity court. So, what's the truth? Is Mr. McRae running a whole fantasy novel, or does he actually have a case?
When she was pregnant, and she told me she was pregnant, I just looked in shock, like, what? Really?
Well, were you having sex?
Oh yeah, almost.
Were you using protection?
Nah,
Well, then why were you so shocked?
because I was told I was able to have children.
Hold up. So he truly believes he can't have kids, yet he's out here fighting for this baby like his life depends on it? Make it make sense. Does he just want to be a father that badly? Or is there something we're all missing? And seriously, is there anything these two can agree on, or are they just professionally difficult?
So I don't understand what's going on here. Now, you're in a relationship. During the window of time when DeMiracle was conceived, you were in a relationship with Mr.
We was broken up. When Miracle was born, we was broken up.
Not born, conceived.
Conceived, yes.
You were in a relationship with Mr. McRae.
No, when she was conceived, we was broken up the month.
Wait. Ms. Moore, girl, you are doing yourself no favors here. This man was doting, present at the hospital, and even there for the delivery. If your actual husband is supposed to be the baby's father, then where was he in all of this? Because right now it's looking real suspicious.
You cut the umbilical cord.
Yes, because
Yeah, he cut it, but he was sitting on the side.
Well, wait a minute, Miss Moore. Now, hold on. Because I know, wait a minute, I've been a mother in a hospital. Now, if this is not your husband, you weren't married to him, right? And you say you didn't believe he was the biological father of this child.
Exactly. Where was her husband while Mr. McRae was all up in the delivery room, cutting umbilical cords like a proud father? Ms. Moore keeps screaming about how much she didn't want him there, yet somehow he managed to be front and center for the whole thing. So, what was the husband doing? Taking a nap? Running errands? The math ain't mathing.
And it looks like she's doing the airplane with her daddy.
she threw up on me after that.
But this is a beautiful picture.
Thank you.
Now, Ms. Moore, at this time, when this picture was taken,
And
had
she
you
took the picture.
told Mr. McRae that DeMiracle was not his biological child?
Yeah, I told him he still wasn't leaving. He said he had a bond, but he just wanted to be with me, and I do not want to be with him.
Oh, now this is rich. So, Ms. Moore is out here acting like Mr. McRae just broke into her house, Mission Impossible style, to take these pictures? Ma'am, please, if you were that against it, those pictures wouldn't exist. And of course, these two are telling completely different versions of the story. Shocking, right? Yeah, not really.
Do you remember Mr. McRae? How did you get in the house?
I was living there.
No, he was already out.
Did you live in the home during the time after DeMiracle was born?
Yes.
You lived in the home with her?
Yes.
No.
How old was DeMiracle when you got kicked out of the house?
She was 10 months old.
Hold on. She did what? Kicked one man out just to move another one in? So let me get this straight. She had a whole boyfriend living with her, booted him out, and then let her husband move right in? And now she's trying to act like that's totally normal? Girl, please. Married or not, that's some next level cheating and we all know it.
So I'm gonna believe what I believe.
I mean, when you cut a child's umbilical cord, when you are there at the birth of a child and you think that child is yours, you formed a bond. Whether anybody likes it or not, you formed a bond.
Because when the baby was born, I looked and was like, the baby came out of that? And that's all it wrote. That's all she wrote.
This poor man, all he wants is his baby, or, you know, what he thinks is his baby. And honestly, it's hard not to feel for him. Ms. Moore gave him every reason to believe he was the father, and now she's acting like he just made it all up in his head? He was there when the baby was born. He even cut the umbilical cord and signed the birth certificate. And now she wants to act brand new? Oh, come on.
It's Mr. Moore, and it's your wife, and you love her, and I'm glad y'all in a relationship.
Okay.
But Miss Moore, you're not fooling me. I don't know where you were, but I know you were in a relationship when this baby was born. I've been a woman too long. Since you had not cut the cord on your relationship, she let him cut the cord on the baby.
Oh yes, now this is what I'm here for. Judge Lake has officially backed Ms. Moore into a corner, and it is glorious. That whole sob story about how she was never involved with Mr. McRae and he was never part of her life? Yeah, that's looking real flimsy right now. Girl, who are you trying to fool? But enough of the back and forth. It's time to get those results.
The biological father is Mr. Moore. He is the biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you accept that?
I can say it hurts.
The drama is thick today. Mr. Buchanan swears that Ms. Stembridge betrayed him in the worst way possible by getting cozy with his best friend and roommate while he was locked up. And now, she's in court trying to convince him that the baby is his, while also saying his trust issues with women are the real problem? Girl, this is not the argument you think it is.
Basically, he said, that's why I was sleeping with your girl while you locked up.
Okay, that wasn't exactly the news you wanted to hear, right?
Not really, no. And who wants to hear that? You know what I'm saying? I expect people to be upfront with me, okay? You know, I threw the chips at him or whatever I was eating, you know, told him whatever, you're full of lies, you know what I'm saying? I put my faith into this woman, you know. I've been taking care of her and stuff.
So at some point, he must have trusted her, right? But now, we've somehow arrived at a point where he wouldn't trust her alone in a room with his own best friend. That's a big leap. What went down between them? And now, instead of just some couples therapy, we've escalated all the way to paternity court? Oh, this is going to be a wild ride.
I don't care if it's a supermodel. You ain't drinking with somebody that's supposed to be my best friend. You know, you had the right to say no, all right? If
So
it's
you
peer pressure-
blaming Miss Stembridge or you blaming your best friend?
Ah, so now we're putting all the blame on Ms. Stembridge. I mean, sure, she was in the relationship, not the best friend, but come on. Are we really going to pretend like Eric, the so-called best friend, had zero responsibility in this mess? What happened to loyalty? What happened to bro code? Apparently, it went straight out the window.
She come to pick me up, all right? We get home, or we on the way home, and I'm looking at them, they both nervous, all right? They both nervous, shaking, looking scared, like they about to get beat, all right? So I get home.
Oh, now things are getting real. Mr. Buchanan originally thought this was a one-time incident, but now he's realizing these two have been drinking together more than he knew. But hold on, if they were drinking so openly, does that mean there was actually nothing to hide? Or was this just some very bold, out-in-the-open betrayal?
In your mind, you thought she's drinking with him again and she said that was only a one-time thing.
Okay, check it out. She told me about the beer, so when you picked me up, why didn't you fair warn me?
Oh, now we're getting specific. This man is really out here losing sleep over some lemon drops. He's furious that Ms. Stembridge would be out drinking his signature drink with another man, especially when he knows how she gets after a few of them. Honestly, I've never seen a man this heartbroken over a cocktail.
Oh, I need to check my girl? Why I need to check my girl? Nah, you need to check your girl. She was laid up in your best friend's bed while you were locked up, laid up there sideways in some booty shorts and a spaghetti strap.
No.
Oh wow, this just keeps getting better. Now, Mr. Buchanan is dragging out details about her wardrobe choices, talking about how short her shorts were and how she was lying in his bed in his house. Okay, sir, we get it. But at this point, are you mad about the alleged cheating, or are you just mad that you weren't there to supervise every inch of fabric she wore?
They're not that short.
Hey, when
I'll
you
put
can
them
see-
on right now, Your Honor.
When you can see the McDonald arches and the booty line,
You can't
that's
see
booty
that.
shorts.
And now we've got Ms. Stembridge shooting daggers at this other woman like she's ready to throw hands right now. Meanwhile, Mr. Buchanan is out here acting like a hopeless romantic, talking about how much he still loves and appreciates his ex. Sir, pick a lane. If we're going to be this sentimental, we might as well wrap this up and take a detour to couples court instead.
I've never known Heather to never come over to Eric's house and not come in his bedroom.
That's right.
Every time when I was staying there, she's always came in his bedroom.
To show up at Eric's house. Ask him. I won't call.
Oh, these two women? Yeah, they hate each other. You could lock them in a room for 2 minutes and I guarantee something would get broken, either an object or someone's dignity. And poor Mr. Buchanan, he better make up his mind fast because this love triangle is turning into a war zone.
Mr. Buchanan, you gotta decide who you're in a relationship with. Now, the problem is this. When the chips were down and you were confused and you didn't know what to believe, you had her to talk to and But as long as you have Ms. McNeil in your ear, you all going back and forth, and these two fighting against one another, it's ridiculous.
Would you look at this? Mr. Buchanan is out here being a doting father, showing love and devotion to this baby girl. But, small question, is she actually his daughter? Or is Ms. Stembridge guilty of exactly what he's been accusing her of? We'll find out soon enough when those DNA results hit the table. Grab your snacks, folks. This is the moment of truth.
Mr. Buchanan, you are her father.
Thank you.
That's a blessing.
Thank you.
They ran out of lemon, or you already.
Thank you. It's obvious that you're happy and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
pleased.
Yeah, that's.
This man is stuck between two moms who are absolutely on fire today. On one side, we've got his mother, Ms. McBirth, who is completely over the fact that her son, Mr. Hughes, keeps expanding his little football team of children. She's so fed up, in fact, that she's straight up denying this latest grandbaby and demanding a paternity test. A wild situation? More like a full-blown circus.
This woman is trouble. She is trouble with a capital T. She, as a matter of fact, I call her the 3 T's. Trash, trouble, and trifling. That's what she is. The little boy looks nothing like my son or any member of my family at all.
Now this is bold. Ms. McBirth actually walked into court armed with a picture of Mr. Hughes and the baby, waving it around like it's some kind of evidence. Her whole argument? They don't look alike. Girl, please! Meanwhile, the ex-girlfriend is firing back, accusing Ms. McBirth of being completely in denial and letting her personal feelings cloud the situation. Ding, ding, ding! Round 1 of the showdown has begun.
So why do you think she's in so much doubt over your child?
I have no idea, to be honest. Like, maybe because he is so white?
Because he all the white. He ain't got no black in here. Everything I see got powder puff on it. I don't see no chocolate nowhere, okay?
No, ma'am.
Oh no, Ms. McBirth did not just say that. That comment was not only unnecessary, it was racist. Someone needs to remind her that genetics are unpredictable, and not every baby is going to pop out looking like a carbon copy of their father. Sure, she might be annoyed that her son keeps producing children like a factory, but that's no excuse for coming after this woman like that. Not cool, Ms. McBirth. Not cool.
Let me understand this relationship. So how long have you been in a relationship with Mr. Hughes?
For maybe about 15, 18 months.
Okay, so a little over a year. Were you in a committed relationship?
I thought we was.
You did, okay. And was he the only person you were intimate with during that time?
Yes, ma'am.
And just like that, we've now got 3 women turning this courtroom into a reality TV brawl. Where did this third lady even come from? Why is she so invested in Ms. Jackson's life? If Ms. Jackson says she and Mr. Hughes were in a committed relationship, then why is everyone acting like she needs to prove it? This mess is spiraling out of control.
A side chick.
And it's all she has done is she's been trying to put the baby on us.
Force it. Yeah, you have. Don't sit up and act like you haven't.
But the thing about her,
she's trying to push that baby on. That ain't mine. I didn't sleep with her. That child is not ours.
When you say she's trying to push the baby on you, what do you mean?
She wants me to acknowledge that child is my son's.
Oh, this just keeps getting worse. Ms. McBirth is out here arguing with Judge Lake herself, like that's going to end well for her. But let's rewind for a second. She really just said she only takes care of her son's real kids? Excuse me? And exactly how many kids does Mr. Hughes have? From how many different women? Also, why is this man silent through all of this? He's got a whole courtroom battle happening over his baby, and he's sitting there like a mannequin.
Tell me about the first time you met Elijah.
I seen him at the doctor's office where I was taking his real children to the doctor, and it was a newborn, and I walked past him, and I kind of glanced over there, and I seen this little white baby. I knew it wasn't mine, and I ain't had nothing else to say or do about it since then.
A sex party? And the police got involved? What in the name of absolute foolishness is happening here? But honestly, I have one major question. Where was the baby while all this was going down? Also, someone needs to tap Ms. McBirth on the shoulder and let her know that her "I'm done picking up babies" era is not happening. Her son, who, by the way, still hasn't said a word, has enough kids to start a daycare. She better brace herself.
I'm sick of all these little hookers trying to say my son is the daddy. I'm sick of it. I get babies dropped off here, dropped off there. I'm sick of it.
But
it stops today.
Why is your neighbors complaining about the sex that goes on in your household?
There was no sex going on. No, read the police report. If you want to read the police report.
Ladies.
Oh, you know Judge Lake wasn't about to just sit there and let these women hijack the courtroom. She's jumped in, grilling them with all the right questions. And meanwhile, Meanwhile, Mr. Hughes, still silent. Does this man even have a stance on his own child? Then, to top off the absolute nonsense of the day, Ms. McBirth actually had the audacity to say that watching her son love on his baby makes her sick? That's it. This woman is beyond unhinged.
Miss McBirth, I have to ask you, you're very tough on Miss Jackson. Do you have anything to say about your son's behavior?
My son, he's a handsome guy. He's my son, and I know what he do. But he's still, no matter what he do, he's still gonna be my son.
When you look at this picture,
it make me want to throw up.
It seems like your son is kissing the baby. It makes you want to throw up.
It makes me want to throw up because
Why?
It's a lie.
For your son to be kissing an innocent child?
Because it's not his.
Wait, hold on. So after all the racist remarks she made, Ms. McBirth actually married a white man? And now she has the nerve to be losing her mind over a grandchild that might look white? Girl, be for real. And considering her own family history is literally biracial, she should know better. At this point, Ms. McBirth is just proving how deep her nonsense runs. But after all this chaos, it's finally time for the moment of truth. Bring on those results.
Do you believe you are Elijah's father?
I just gave him the benefit of the doubt because I'm biracial. My father's white, you know, so
That child is not my son's.
Talk about drama. Mr. Henderson, a 57-year-old former ladies' man, and Ms. Brown, his 56-year-old ex-flame, had a sizzling summer fling years ago. Now, decades later, she's standing in paternity court alongside her 32-year-old son, Rodell, to prove that their little summer rendezvous didn't just fizzle out, it created a whole human being.
I was living in Jersey City when I met Mr. Henderson. Mr. Henderson came to the bar and told me that I had some sexy eyes, some beautiful eyes. About him being a charming, very good looking.
But Mr. Henderson? Oh, he is not here for any of it. He's doubling down, swearing up and down that Ms. Brown was just a random name on his very long roster. He doesn't know Rodell, doesn't care to. And if it were up to him, he never would. Let's be real. Ms. Brown basically dragged him here kicking and screaming.
Mr. Henderson was the only man that I was seeing in the state of New Jersey at the time. I had no chance of being with no other man but Mr. Henderson.
Your Honor, that's not true.
That's true.
Me and Ms. Brown,
is true.
We were
It
never
is true.
dating. We were never dating.
Oh, no?
We were never dating.
No?
And the way this man is shutting everything down, you'd think Ms. Brown made the whole thing up. If she weren't actually there all those years ago, she might have even started questioning her own memory. Now, Mr. Henderson adds that he's simply not the settling down type. Never has been, never will be. And as for kids, he's got plenty already. No need for any more surprise additions.
I wasn't even dating her, and I always used protection when I was with her because I was sleeping with multiple partners. So why would I do that?
All right, so you say you got a team.
Well, I had a team. Yes,
So,
she was just
what
one
you're
member of the team, and
so-
she got a cut slip.
Oh, so Ms. Brown knew what she was signing up for, huh? That's interesting. These two are really something else, like the chaotic couple you can't look away from. But just when you think you've heard the wildest part of this mess, here comes the story of how Mr. Casanova, Henderson, first found out she was pregnant. Buckle up.
How did you find out she was even pregnant, or did you even know?
Well, I actually found out because one day I was outside the club, I was walking down the street, and I seen her sister. She said to me, "You know, Linda's pregnant." I said, "If so, it ain't my baby," because I had cut her off the team a long time ago.
Why he said
So I don't know how
Now this is just pure comedy. These two lost contact for 3 decades and now they're here, back in court, shouting at each other like it's still the 90s. It's like they stepped into a time machine and picked up right where they left off. Only now, their argument has a 32-year-old audience member who just wants some answers.
Your Honor, one thing I have to say is like, my grandmother raised me. I mean, like, I made different, you know what I'm saying, choices in my life that led to me joining gangs because I ain't have no father in my life. And it hurt. You know what I'm saying? My mom, she was there, but she wasn't in the house like she was supposed to.
And here we go again. After finally agreeing that yes, he did see Raydell as a baby and even gave the kid his first haircut, Mr. Henderson immediately goes back to square one, insisting that he always used protection and there is no way Rodell is his. This man is really grasping at straws now. But hey, we don't have to guess. The DNA test will settle this once and for all.
So in this picture, you're about the same age that Mr. Brown is now.
Right.
All right.
Do y'all see this, Emma? Come on now. good-looking son like this? How
He's
can
a
you deny-
good-looking
how
young
can you
man.
deny it?
I just never saw him before.
Yeah, but you saw him at the age of 2.
Well, if you'd have stayed where you were supposed to stay, we would know.
I wasn't
and he
supposed
would
to
have been
stay
in my
in Jersey
life.
Why do people always pull out the "he doesn't even look like me" card? That argument has never held up in this courtroom. We don't need side-by-side comparisons. We need test results. And what's this nonsense about Ms. Brown not staying in the right place? Sir, you literally just said you have zero interest in this child. So what does it matter now?
Now, Ms. Brown, I understand that you're hurting. I really do. And truthfully, Mr. Henderson, I can understand a part of your doubt. I mean, if in your mind you thought you used protection and then someone tells you you have a child, 5 months later they're gone and you don't hear from them anymore, a lot of people, if we're being very honest, many people would just say,
And let's not forget who this is all affecting the most. Rodell. Imagine living your entire life not knowing your father, only to finally get the chance to meet him and have to sit through this disaster, to have your very identity hanging in the balance, waiting for a single sheet of paper to decide the truth. This is heavy.
I mean, I hope the results come out that he is my father. I mean,
you do.
That way we can move forward and he can be in my life and my kids' life.
And Mr. Henderson, what are your hopes?
My hopes is to get resolution today to find out if he's my son or not. My arms are wide open. If you're my son, you're welcome.
Well, well, well. Looks like Mr. Henderson is finally showing a little heart. After all the dismissive, downright cruel things he said today, he suddenly seems to have a soft spot for Rodell. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The bickering hasn't stopped for a second. Now, the only thing left to do is open that envelope and find out what's really going on.
Mr. Henderson, you are not his father.
Oh, no!
I told you.
Oh, no. I'm not going to feel. I'm sorry that I thought you were the father because y'all look so much alike.
I understand.
Miss Brown.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, today's case is dripping with drama. We've got 2 feisty women in court, Ms. Jackson, the would-be grandmother, and Ms. Pickens, the mother of the child in question. And guess what? The alleged father, Mr. Jackson, won't be making an appearance today because, well, he's locked up. Classic. But that's not stopping his mother from taking center stage and accusing Ms. Pickens of being a little too generous with her love life. Let's get into it.
Okay, so Miss Jackson, why did you initially accept the baby if you had doubt?
Your Honor, I never accepted the baby. That's a lie. I stated from day one, I do not believe this is my granddaughter.
Well, give Ms. Pickens some credit. She's keeping it real. Not everyone would admit to juggling 3 different men while cameras are rolling. Now the real question is, who's actually telling the truth? And let's not ignore the bigger mystery. Why did Ms. Jackson originally accept this baby with open arms, only to turn around and call her own son a fool for believing it's his? Somebody's got some explaining to do.
Miss Jackson, you say you never heard of Miss Pickens?
Never heard of her. He
you
never
never
mentioned
heard
her.
about a baby, and
Never
one
heard.
day
He didn't live
she
with
shows
you.
up at
Yes,
the
he
house.
did. She comes in with this child. They came in together. This baby's 4 months old.
Oh, these ladies came ready to brawl. The case hasn't even properly started, and they're already biting each other's heads off. And can we talk about the absolute shock of having a complete stranger roll up to your house, calling you Nana while holding a baby you've never seen before? And this little one has been in the world for 4 months? Ms. Jackson must have felt like she walked into the Twilight Zone.
How many guys were you sleeping with?
2.
She don't know.
2.
She don't know. She
when
don't
I
know.
met him, I had a boyfriend.
Exactly.
Me and the boy stopped.
So she also.
Now, Miss Jackson, let her speak.
I'm sorry.
When you met her son,
Yes.
you had a boyfriend.
Yes.
Whew, Ms. Pickens is out here oversharing like it's a confessional. Did she just casually admit to having daily unprotected fun with Mr. Jackson while also keeping 2 other men on the roster? Oh my. Ms. Pickens, some things are better left unsaid. Not even the world's best detective would have been able to squeeze that confession out of me.
That's his
My son looks like Sonia.
And no, he
Yes, come on. My son looks more like her than he does me.
She said her son look like me.
Yes. Can you stand up and turn to the courts?
So, Miss Jackson, even looking at this shot, you still don't see the resemblance.
I see that all 3 of them can stand by each other, and y'all would think that's her son than mine. Yes.
Ah, here we go again with the "he looks just like him" argument. But Ms. Jackson isn't having it. In fact, she finds it so ridiculous that she flips the script and says her own son looks more like Ms. Pickens's brother than he does his own mother. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the semblance argument is officially dead.
Miss Jackson actually expressed interest and established a relationship
Never.
Yes.
with
Never.
the baby.
Never. I never had
One second. saying, ma'am.
I never established a relationship with this.
Finally, someone says what we've all been thinking. Were these two arch rivals in a past life? Because the sheer hostility is unreal. The moment one of them opens her mouth, the other is ready to cut her off and throw another insult into the mix. Judge Lake is trying to keep order, but this courtroom is seconds away from turning into a full-blown battleground.
My son looks more like her mother.
So you're saying the first part of your doubt is you don't feel like the baby looks like your son.
Exactly.
Okay,
No
and
grandmother
next,
connection.
You don't have a grandmother connection.
No.
What, meaning when you look at the baby, you
I
don't
do
have
not.
that feeling
Exactly.
that
This is my grandchild. I have 2 grandchildren that I love dearly and take very good care of them.
Oh, hold up. Did Ms. Pickens really fake a pregnancy before? That is wild. And now we find out Ms. Jackson already has 2 grandchildren. Meanwhile, her son, the infamous ladies' man, is sitting in jail. Ma'am, with all due respect, you might want to reconsider putting all your trust in him. Just saying.
To me, she looked just like hair, eyes. She does looks like this little boy done lived with me for about a month.
When he doing
he didn't
illegal
have nowhere to
activity,
go. But I had a picture of Kevin, her.
And now we have a new player entering the chaos, Ms. Dates. She's confidently backing the they look alike argument like it's her secret weapon. Oh honey, you are in for a rude awakening. Meanwhile, Ms. Jackson is going off, barely letting Ms. Dates string 2 words together before jumping down her throat.
Mrs. Jackson, you are not her grandmother.
Got you.
Hold on.
Thank you, God. Don't do that.
Now this is peak madness. What is going on in this courtroom? First, it's just yelling, then suddenly, bam! Shoes and papers start flying. Ms. Manning, what was that for? Are we really out here playing dodgeball with office supplies now? Thank goodness for Jerome, or else who knows how much furniture would have been airborne by now.
So I need to call a recess because while I know this is the news that you wanted, I think courtroom decorum would suggest that maybe we didn't need to do a dance and throw papers in the air. You could have handled it better, and I want you to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
So at some point, when things calm down.
7 men? 7? Mr. DeLeon is absolutely done with Ms. Ramirez and her antics. She swears up and down that he's the father of both her babies, but he's looking at her like she just told him the sky is green. According to him, she's been on a cheating spree, and now he's stuck in court listening to her fairy tale.
Ms. Ramirez, take me back to the circumstances that you found out you were pregnant with your first child.
Well, at the time, just to say right now, Your Honor, that I'm very disappointed in Gilbert for everything.
Oh, now this is getting juicy. Ms. Ramirez wasn't just with Mr. DeLeon. She was there from the very start. But wait, what's this about Mr. DeLeon smoking weed? So he's not exactly the flawless stand-up father he's making himself out to be either. Looks like both of them have some explaining to do.
And I let him know that I was pregnant and the baby may not be his. And I gave him that option either to stay or to go. He decided—
Excuse me, I find that incorrect. You called me while I was working with my father.
And he decided
and you told me
to
that
stay.
there was my child.
Hold on, let's run that back. She hooked up with some random old friend just because she had an argument with Mr. DeLeon? That's next level petty. Who even does that? This woman needs a diary or a hobby, because using infidelity as conflict resolution is insane.
In yellow is outlined the dates that you had intimate relations with Mr. De Leon.
Yes, ma'am.
The other color outlines the dates you were intimate with a friend.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait a second. She color-coded her intimacy dates? What? Who does that? She's literally handing over evidence that makes her look worse. So let's get this straight. She was with Mr. DeLeon for 3 days, but with other men for 4? That's some bold math. And the real question is, did Mr. DeLeon know any of this before today?
And at the same time, I would ask her, is everything okay? Do you love me? Do you don't love me? She would tell me yes. Nothing else is going on until I found text messages on her phone. And I confronted her about this to give her the benefit of the doubt to see if she would tell me the truth. And she consecutively lied.
Oh, he found out all by himself? This man snooped through her phone and uncovered the whole mess, and she had the nerve to lie about it? The absolute least she could do when caught red-handed was admit the truth. But nope, she doubled down and tried to play innocent.
When she found out that she was pregnant, she told me I was the dad. And as I found all this information out, I had doubts. I mean, if she slept with other guys during the same week that our child was supposedly conceived, how could I be sharing my mind if it's my kid?
Now Ms. Ramirez wants to act shocked that he doubts paternity? Ma'am, if you tell a man you slept with 7 other guys during your conception window, you can't be surprised when he side-eyes that baby. That's just basic logic.
So I took it upon myself and brought her into the home. Well, at that point in time that she went off and told me that my friend ended up touching her on the leg and say, hey, let's go to the room. She came down and ran to me and told me, hey, he's doing this, I don't like this. 2 weeks later, I find out she ended up having sex with him.
With your roommate?
Yes.
Wow. So he really had to piece everything together by himself. And despite all the drama, they ended up having 2 kids together? How does that even happen? With this much betrayal, these two should have been miles apart. Yet here they are, still tangled in this toxic mess.
2 children to support.
Yes, ma'am.
And a family, so what was wrong with that?
He was working all the time, and it's still to this day, it is still like that.
But I'm saying, what would then lead you to sleep with the roommate?
Just to. It was just to, because I didn't care if I was with him. It was just to be away. And
But you weren't away because you were in the house where he lived.
Oh, this is rich. She cheated on her husband with random men just because? What kind of excuse is that? Mr. DeLeon was out working, trying to provide, and this was what she was doing? And now she's shocked that he doesn't trust her? Maybe she should have gotten a job instead of treating their relationship like a game of musical chairs.
We hadn't talked for a couple of months because we got in an argument. I get a call from her stating, hey, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, okay, why does that concern me? You know, she's like, it's your kid. And I was like, how is it my kid when you've slept with so many other guys? How do I know it's mine? And she's like, well, I want you to be here in the hospital. And, you know, me, kind-hearted like I was, I went and saw her in the hospital.
And after all of that, Mr. DeLeon still kept taking her back. Why? No one knows. He even showed up at the hospital for both births, still holding out hope. But now, after years of lies and infidelity, he's putting his foot down. The moment of truth is here. The results are in. Let's see how this disaster finally ends.
When it comes to 2-year-old Ian, Mr. DeLeon, you are his father. Let's go to the second results. As it pertains to 1-year-old Annalise, Mr. DeLeon, you are her father.